upstairs in this meeting right now, and it's going to determine the fate of our whole project, right?
We're not all looking for jobs. We're not panicking and going, oh, they've killed the movie. I mean, I suppose that's still a possibility.
Are we brutally just mutilating this thing?
I've also heard that if none of the outlines strike Peter as brilliant, then they might completely show the project. So...
Hello, Sting. This is Roger Allers from Walt Disney in Burbank.
In 1997, I was approached by the Walt Disney Company to write songs for an animated feature called The Kingdom of the Sun. I was deeply flattered, you know. I mean, Disney films have been in my life since I saw Sleeping Beauty, I think. It's going to be directed by Roger Allers, who'd just been successfully directing The Lion King.
After Lion King, I was told, how about developing a story about South American culture? I looked at them and I said, oh, the Incas. So I gathered a crew to do the picture, you know, inspired by a setting like Machu Picchu, the city up in the clouds, up in the mountains. The mythic aspect of the Inca culture is important to me. I'd love to get something of the essence. It does have to do with their gods and the sun and the beautiful imagery of that sort of thing. The challenge of trying to make something of the Inca culture and make it come alive and take us to a magical place that perhaps once existed but doesn't anymore. It's a story about Pacha, a llama herder who loves the sun. He believes there's always a way to bring light into any situation. And Pacha comes to the city, and when he's put into a position of leadership, he transforms the city. When I pitched the original story that I cooked up to Michael Eisner, he said it has all the elements of a classic Disney film. The same storyline I pitched to Sting. It's about a common man teaching an arrogant man how to rule. Sting agreed to come on and do the movie. Everyone was going, yay, let's do this picture. Beginning of the earth, people lived in a world that was ruled by Sumite, darkness.
Mango, 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 mango.
And there's Manco, the arrogant, self-centered prince.
I can't believe I've been here this long and no one's kissed my feet.
I always think of the emperor, basically, as the top of the sun culture, so he'd be in reds and yellows and all those ends. And there's the Huaca, who's a rigid old bureaucrat.
I am a 10,000-year-old rock.
And there's Yzma. It's so perfect, I can't believe what's happened. I've just turned Manco into a llama. There's a dummy emperor in his place. I love the process of watching it come alive and working with all these great people. And everybody's bringing this stuff in, and we're all working together, and you watch this thing slowly, but magically come alive.
I leapt at the idea, writing for Disney characters, writing funny songs, sad songs, love songs, that have nothing to do with my life.
All along the mountain tree, if you're walking like a llama, then you just can't feel.
This whole song is about llamas in Incan society and the position, you know, The premise is that the entire civilization is dependent on the llama, because you can't have a civilization if you don't have any clothes on.
I decided to collaborate because I didn't want them to be Sting songs. I didn't want necessarily to sound like Sting. And I chose Dave Hartley because I'd worked with him a few times, a wonderful piano player, very funny. I have a great deal of love and affection for each other.
Look, I'll play the guitar, you fucking do what you do. Could you just be a tinsy-winsy little bit more obnoxious and shitty on camera? That'd be really perfect. If you could just act that, it'd be...
Alright. Now you hear the sound of the distant procession drums. Pasha hears it and turns, runs past his line.
The only problem was they hadn't really settled on a script.
To stop the song and to still have a dancing llama.
I was writing songs in the dark, really, based on sort of hearsay of what the film was going to be. There was no hard script. So I'm having to second guess what sort of characters they're inventing, because I'm inventing characters as well. It's their film. I mean, I'm only a minion here. I'm not very good at being a minion, I have to say.
It's good for your moral fibre,
I was raised in a house like the Von Trapp family. I'd always thought I would run a theater company. Animation isn't made like traditional filmmaking. You are in a constant state of workshop, like rehearsing a play. So that seemed normal to me. And my favorite thing about animation is the group process. I love hearing people throw ideas out. The pecking order is tricky because everyone's opinion gets to come in because of the nature of our process. It's very hard for one guy, if it's a complicated movie, to be able to give all the answers he has to. The day isn't long enough because all the departments are working simultaneously. So I have a basic rule, which is it takes two people to direct one of these movies, Roger and Mark.
For me, since Roger had started this 2 years before I came on, he's really had a lot of time to think about what the movie's going to be, and a lot of time to picture it in his head. So a lot of the time has just been spent trying to get up to speed with what he's thinking.
It comes through and there he is. Dun, 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 dun.
You just get better ideas when you can challenge and be challenged.
Randy's the producer of the movie.
Our job is to make a film that is really entertaining, interesting storyline, but not too complex.
Is this still a good thing that we're doing?
What we're grappling with at the moment is that we have a lot of elements in this story. We have a love interest, a Prince and the Pauper switch, a classic villain. And she's got a relationship with a primordial being. But I think that the studio in recent years has really opened up and said, we don't want to keep making the same sort of film, and have given really the people in the studio a lot of artistic license to different sorts of stories. It really is very demanding to find something that you feel is universally appealing and yet is really authentic, and hopefully different than the other characters that we've been doing.
That's kind of my job at this point, to really make the characters feel like they're Incas. I kind of came up with this character style guide that breaks down things, you know, body parts, philosophies, a look of the characters. It's just to kind of unify all the artists and put them in and set them in one direction.
Oh, that's different.
The trick is make her beautiful or make her extreme.
Well, I always wanted to be a Disney animator, but it was somewhat of an exotic idea. You tell your friends and family as your life's goal, you want to go to America and work for Disney, and everybody says, yeah, sure, you go to America, you work for Walt Disney, dream on. Isma is actually very, very vain. Which is a very simple quality, something you can hang your hat on. She is old and wrinkly, and she's just a bunch of bones, and she wants to be young and beautiful again. And it's something very current. You see people in Beverly Hills like that, so I can go there and do my research if I need to.
The prince? I told you. He's dead. I poisoned him myself.
I've done villains for Disney before, but male ones only. I've done